You already know, Looper Norris, man. I got another episode here reacting to the most recent albums of this year. Rap albums only, track by track, giving you guys my full observation. Today I'm actually going to do a mixtape. Before I go through the mixtape, just going to go over a few things about my music. Of course, subscribe to the channel. I'm continuing to do the content that I do, the album reaction, the TikTok compilations. I want to get all the tracks off of #INDICA out of the way, put them all on YouTube. Once the full mixtape's on YouTube, then I'll start releasing those videos again for Sunday. And as for Monday to Thursday, still the same schedule. I got a new project that I'm currently working on, so listen to #. It's out on all platforms everywhere. I got another project that I'm currently working on. I think I'm gonna set this one up for next year. I'm thinking maybe summertime of next year, May, June, around that time of next year. That's when I'll release it. I'll give you guys an official day once I get closer to finishing the project, because it's not done yet. I'll probably say 60 to 70% of it is done, but I'll keep you guys posted on the day I'll be releasing this album. It's 10 tracks for sure, I'll tell you that much. So on December 4th, that's when I will continue the singles, give you guys a chance to take in the mixtape #INDICA. Then on December 4th, I have a new track called Waldo, maybe one more track for the 14th, and then I'll continue dropping singles for January 4th and then ongoing. Today, we're gonna do a new mixtape. I usually do albums with this segment, but today we're gonna do a mixtape. We're gonna do Future's Pluto. It's a new mixtape that he released last month, September 20th. I'm gonna go over all the tracks, give you guys my point of view, give you guys a rating at the end of the video, play a couple of tracks, about 4 of them, just a snippet of each, give you guys an idea of how this one sounds like. This one's got 17 tracks on it. I'm playing all the tracks on SoundCloud, his SoundCloud account. So the first track I'll play, this one's called Ocean. This one's called MJ. This one's called South of France. This one's called Press the Button. Future, Mixtape Pluto. I don't really have to talk too much about his biography because Future, this guy is very famous, man. Almost like another Drake or Kendrick Lamar. His fame is worldwide. A lot of people know who this guy is. He's been around for a long time too. A little bit of an older rapper, but still relevant in the game. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a legend in Atlanta. I would say he's a pioneer as well in terms of modern rap music. A lot of rappers, especially out of Atlanta, I won't say copied his style, but like kind of copied his style and made it their own. He started a lot of trends, a lot of like styles and flows that he would use, not even now, but even back in the day, like 10 years back. He started a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing you can definitely say about Future. No matter how bad of a rapper some people might think he is, he was the first to do a lot. Guys like Playboy Cardi, Migos, Quavo, like Lil Baby. You listen to these rappers, a lot of their styles is definitely from Future. He's sort of like the godfather of this new age style of rapping that you'll hear. Trap style of rapping, the quick syllables. Future basically started all of that. Future has a lot of history. Definitely got to give him the respect of being just that pioneer that started a lot of different styles that you hear in today's rap music. So Pluto is also like another name for Future, if anybody's ever wondering why he called the album Pluto. All the beats sound the same, man. I'm going through every single track. Every beat has the same drum loop in a way. Maybe the whole beat's not the same, but when you listen to the drum loop, it's like the same thing on every single track. And the problem with that, it forces Future to go with the same flow. It makes it tough to come up with different flows when you're given the same drum loop. The drums are a huge part of just rap instrumentals in general. If you switch up the drum pattern, that can change the dynamics of the beat completely and make it sound like a completely different beat. In one rap song, you can use the same sample to make another rap song, but you can make the whole beat sound completely different if you switch up the drum loop into something else. Then even though you're using the same sample, maybe the same bass line too, it can make the beat sound completely different. And on this mixtape, I feel like the producers on this one use the same drum loop on every track, forcing Future to use the same style and flow on every track. So it makes every song sound the same. And that's the first thing that I've noticed about the mixtape that I really didn't like. I was hoping Future would sort of switch up the beat selection so that he can come up with different flows and give us something a little bit different than what he usually does. There's a lot of different producers working on this mixtape. It looks like there's about 20 different producers that worked on this one. So it's very surprising that every beat sort of sounds the same. Maybe Future was looking for a certain style and asked every producer to make every beat sort of sound the same so that he can use the same flow. That explains why there's like so many different producers on this mixtape, but every track sounds the same still. He doesn't really give you anything outside of what he normally does. And even with his raps on here too, I never thought Future was the best rapper when it comes to like being a lyricist compared to a lot of other lyricists. I never thought he was a good rapper, even like way back in the day. I think he's a great song maker and he has a great mind for music. He has a very smart business mind for music when it comes to making money, gaining clout, the whole business aspect of making music. I think he's one of the smartest in the game. When it comes to being like a lyricist, somebody that you can battle, somebody where you can take their lyrics and take it apart, the metaphors, the similes, everything he's talking about in his verse, and really like, you know, learn from it and stuff. When it comes to being like a lyricist, I always thought he was one of the worst in the game, and he proves it to me on this mixtape. I mean, there's maybe 4 or 5 songs out of the 17 where he's going pretty hard lyrically, but most of the album is just the same. It's what I expected, but a little bit worse on the lyrical side. It's just like, it doesn't sound like he tried at all. Maybe because it's a mixtape, it's not an album. I don't know. I always thought his mixtapes were better than his albums, so I was expecting a little bit better than this. If not, I was expecting just the same thing that Future normally does, but this was a little bit worse than what you normally expect from Future on the lyrical side. And the beats don't really help that when he's getting beats that are pretty like one-dimensional and just the same style of beats that you'd hear from Future on other projects before. There's nothing fresh or new to take in on this mixtape. You're pretty much just getting the same typical Future that you're used to hearing from him on almost every track, even though there's 17 tracks on this one. The mixing isn't the best either. That's another part that sort of stands out for me. Most of the albums and mixtapes that I've done so far this year, the mixing is on point, and it's like, these are the biggest rappers in the world. When it comes to the type of albums that I do, I try to pick out albums from rappers that are pretty well known worldwide, pretty famous. Like a rapper with that status should be working with the professionals of the business when it comes to the mastering their music, the mixing part, all the volume adjustments. You gotta think that they're paying the best of the best, especially because they're making thousands if not millions of dollars off of their music once they put it out. $1 million studios and everything that they use is professional, expensive as hell. So you'd think that they're gonna use professionals in terms of like mastering the music. It doesn't sound like that on this mixtape. It almost sounds like Future mixed his own mixtape himself without any professional help. That's what it sounds like. Some tracks are a little bit louder than others. Some vocals are a little bit louder than the beat, and then the beat is sometimes louder than the vocals. On some tracks, the bass is way too loud. It distorts everything else on the song, and it just makes the song sound like just I don't even know, man. Like, maybe because it's a mixtape and not an album, so he like cuts that out of the budget. But that's another part that kind of stands out for me. Every track just sounds too much alike. In my opinion, that's the downside about the mixtape, and he definitely could have went into his bag a little bit more, gave us a little bit more Future in terms of different flows, different styles of beats when it comes to his beat selection. At the same time, this could be a smart business technique, because this way his day one fans are gonna understand it more and they're gonna be more about it, instead of trying new stuff that might push away his day one fans. I mean, trying newer stuff might gain more fans, but Future is like a business type of rapper, you know what I mean? He's a money making rapper. He's focused on the business. He's under major labels, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of money that can be lost. He's got to listen to the labels that he's working with, you know what I mean? Even though he's a legendary rapper out of Atlanta, he's been around for a long time, he has a lot of power, he has a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? So you think that he has full control of the music that he puts out. And this is a mixtape, so he probably has even more control over what he puts out with the mixtapes compared to the albums, where the label has more control over what he can release and what he can't release. Even for like a mixtape, he probably wanted the album to sound the way it sounds, where like every track sort of sounds the same. It keeps his day one fans. It's smarter to focus on the day one fans more than trying to like gain new fans. When you think about it in a business perspective, the way he markets himself is enough to gain newer fans, rather than trying to gain newer fans through his music, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he has a business mind. Everything is directed to getting people to listen to his music, you know what I'm saying? And then once they listen to the music, they're pretty much hooked. Future, he's made a lot of songs in his career. He probably has like over 20 mixtapes in his career, maybe like 10 albums, something like that. He's the type of rapper that's very prolific. He puts a lot of songs out constantly. He has a very great understanding of what works and what doesn't, what sells and what doesn't. Working with all these labels, he probably wanted the album to sound the way it sounds, carry the same drum loop on every track, so that he can use the same style and flow on every track, so that it sells more records at the end of the day. It is a mixtape, so it's a little bit odd that he would still go with like a business type of vision with this project here. It's a mixtape and he has the freedom to do other things with it. It's a little bit of like an Atlanta thing too. That's like their rap style. A lot of songs will sound the same. For me, I was just expecting something a little bit different here and there, you know what I mean? All in all, man, this mixtape, I think it's better suited for like clubs and like parties, getting drunk, you know, dancing. You got girls dancing around. It's like the club scene. It's the perfect music to play in those situations, you know what I mean? It has that type of vibe. It's like a vibing out type of mixtape, more so than a mixtape that you can sit down and really take in and listen to track by track. It makes more sense why every track is sort of the same way, every beat is sort of the same way. I think Future was going more of for that, rather than a classic mixtape where you can take it apart, really take in the lines that he's dropping throughout the tape. Overall, man, I actually didn't like the mixtape at all, man. Like, I think it's okay. There's songs here and there, but those same songs that I like from this mixtape sound like songs that I've heard from Future before. Just like I was saying, he's a very repetitive style rapper where he goes with the same style on almost every track. He doesn't try anything different, but at the same time, it could be a business tactic. Maybe he makes more money off of using the same sound. He is still Future, so I think no matter what he puts out, he'll still sell records. He'll still be successful with whatever project he comes up with. He's created a status where he's like a legend, more than a pioneer, definitely a legend out of Atlanta. He's worked with so much famous rappers in the past off albums, EPs, so many features. He's been featured in a lot of tracks from other famous rappers. His name just carries so much value that it almost doesn't matter how good the mixtape is or how bad it is. He's gonna sell records no matter what. I think the beats outdo the raps just a bit. Every beat sounds the same, but the beats are definitely better than the raps, I think, on this one. I'm giving this one a 6.7 out of 10. There's like 4 or 5 tracks on here that saved them just a bit, that kept this album over a 6. Otherwise, it probably would have been like in the 5s. I think it's one of the worst mixtapes I've ever heard from Future. It just sounds like a money grabber, to be honest, man. He knows his audience, he knows his day ones, he knows what they want. I low-key think he lost it just a bit. He's getting old or something, but I think he's starting to lose it just a bit. But I don't know, that's me, my opinion. 6.7 out of 10. Future mixtape Pluto, another mixtape review reaction, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to the channel, like. I got plenty more content on the way, plenty more music on the way. Listen to #INDICA. I'll keep you posted about future releases. Got lots of music coming up in the future. I'll keep you guys posted about that. I really appreciate all you guys watching, listening to my music, giving me views, likes. You're helping me a whole lot. Continue to do that. I'll continue pushing content out for you. That's all I got for this one, man. Peace.